That's some Jesuit strict observance going on there. That's a papist that wants to be damned. My mother has totally been over backwards, as it just wants to die apparently, wants to commit suicide. I think my mother's suicidal. They're scared of the neighbors across the street. Serena and Alberto next door at 2029 are lockpickers. And they can break into this house of my mother's whenever my mother leaves and put poisons into the milk, into the tea, into the refrigerator, you name it. And they want me in jail. They want me in jail on 2 felony charges. And then they want to get to my mother while I'm in jail and have them poisoned to death and take this house over through the Mormon church. My mother's got a Mormon picture of the Mormon temple framed to the wall in this house. And here's the neighbor's Wi-Fi, DeBears. DeBears is 2030 Lonnie Lane. Julia Bice's Wi-Fi right here. Here's Elf. That's Court Ellefson right next door to them. At 2028, Merkin Diddler is Jeremy Silva. And I'm guessing this neck year 59 is Serena and Alberto. Alberto had a picture of him with a sniper rifle on his Facebook. These guys are remoting into people's computers and putting files on the neighbors' computers, while Judge Schlegelmilch takes a dishonest shadow copy and uses it against me. That is a very dishonest judge who wrote my father, William Francis Dunn, a thank you letter in 2016 because my father was a juror on a murder trial. This judge is a liar, a murderer, and wants me dead in jail. And he wants me dishonestly evaluated by Robert Wildman up in Reno this Sunday, February 15th. My father, William Francis Dunn's dead now, and he was a juror on a trial for the state of Nevada versus Ryan Joe Coddington in 2016. And this dishonest Judge Schlegelmilch talked about bias in the courts in the letter and quoted Abraham Lincoln in the same letter. And Judge Camille Vecchiarelli recused my case out of bias, threw it up to Lori Amadeus, who has the same middle name as Julianne Bice across the street. That's bias. And John Schlegelmilch is going to continue the bias judgment while trolling from his desk, his judicial desk at 3rd Judicial District Court, which is withholding Donald John Trump's full name. It's the Donald J. Trump Justice Complex, when it's really Donald John Trump. And John Schlegelmilch has the same John. Donald John. Here's another name trend. Lori Amadeus Judge has the same middle name as Julianne Bice across the street. And Donald John Justice Complex in Yerington, Nevada, where John Schlegelmilch is the judge. That is all bias. This Judge Schlegelmilch is damning the community. He's coordinating with neighbors around here through middlemen to sneak into people's houses while they're at his courthouse, and he's got a skeleton. John Schlegelmilch has a skeleton with a fishing rod next to a silver Windows laptop at his judicial bench. That is all corrupt. Your mama's meat wallet. They're coordinating on Susan Dunn, my mother.
We want to get that out there to the masses like you listening tonight. We're commercial free and locally owned and operated. You can help.
Merkin Diddler is Jeremy Silva, 2025 Lonnie Lane. Hello Kitty is Joshua Swanik, 2026 Lonnie Lane. And they park their cars in the driveway, reverse facing the street and each other. And that is a neighborhood war.
And the rest explains itself.
And I have Mae Brussels quoted here, talking about Vatican death squads and William Casey and William Whistle.
With Aerosmith and Youngblood.
These guys are papists and they're conspiring on people's property in this neighborhood. And Shayla C. Holmes influenced this Class C felony charge on me. And Julia Bice has a camera aimed at this house 24/7 and disables their camera to have Nathan sneak over here and fuck with the garbage cans. And they also did it to Serena. Jeremy Silva also does the same thing. He plants his own garbage, God knows what, into Joshua Swanik's trash can. They're garbage framing, and they're planting files in the neighbors' computers. And John Schlegelmilch and Lorianne Mathias and Peter Spinuzzi are teaming up against Judge Camille Vecchiarelli, who's in fear of their life, and they're trying to scapegoat me as scaring Judge Camille Vecchiarelli, when no, those 3 judges have an agenda against Camille Vecchiarelli. Latin America liberation theology is what Serena Banda and Alberto Banda are at 2029 Lonnie Lane, Dayton, Nevada. Theology is political activism of priests. It means to liberate you from the death squads of El Salvador, to liberate you from Samoa, to divide up the property, to feed the poor, to educate them. This is Marxism, and they're bleeding this house dry. They have stolen a bunch of crap. Serena and Alberto kicked in my mother's fence board. They're pulling out sprinkler heads from the yard and having it. Dude, it was shooting water in their yard. They're throwing shit in the yard, the front yard. And so I typed shit about them. I sent them text messages again to stop. And they turn around and file another restraining order. And they go to Walker River Justice Court, which is 60 miles from here, instead of Camille Vecchiarelli's Dayton Township Court, which is only 5 miles away. Peter Spinuzzi's been conspiring on Camille Vecchiarelli along with Schlegelmilch and Lorianne Mathias. Robert Francis Prevost is going to retire by 2028, and they want me in jail or prison till at least 2030, if not for life. And Samantha Edmondo is corrupt. Stephen Burns is going to be a judge, and he's the one that put the TPO violation on me to begin with, and Samantha Edmondo's continuing this farce. Have a better land use, so the Central Intelligence Agency, through Casey and Wilson, say to the popes, as if the Pope didn't know that this is the greatest change of the church. In other words, you will suffer. Robert Prevost is Pope Leo XIV. He's from Chicago, and he's a pope at the Vatican, and he's a puppet dictator. He's going to be retiring by 2028, and Cardinal Louis Sacco from Baghdad is going to be the next pope at the Vatican by 2028, before Kamala Harris and Warnock are elected president and vice president. Keep telling the Vatican of their strategy, and it's formulated earlier by their predecessor, really, Richard Helms, and they helped the Vatican on how to combat clerical dissidents, as if the Vatican needs that help. But they're whispering or yelling into the Pope's ear, so like Casey as a Knight of Malta, his excuse is, in quotes, he only has the good of the church in mind. And this is what Robert Prevost is doing. He's backstabbing America. He's betrayed every American, and he's going to give it to Cardinal Louis Sacco for karma for Operation Desert Storm in the Iraqi war. You are going to get a pope that's going to destroy America. And Robert Prevost is doing this right now. There's a massive blackmail operation in this neighborhood. You need to repent, Judge John Paul. Pope John Paul II. John Paul Schlegelmilch is the name of this judge at the 3rd District Court in Yerington, Nevada. Friday the 13th. Somebody tried to get my Google disabled after Robert William Wildman. My name is William. He's intellectually dishonest. Calls me Mr. Dunn. Well, Mr. Wildman. Two-faced, take your coin and call people respectfully Mr. and then turn around and call somebody else Mr. to degrade them. You need to repent. In-home invasions by neighbors. My mother, Susan Dunn, and I are both being coordinated on by U.S. Marine Corps neighbors that put restraining orders on me, accusing me of stalking, when it is them doing the stalking. Huh? I'm just reading something on the computer monitor. I'm not angry at all. I think you sound a bit agitated, though. I'll get new shoes myself.
I got new shoes.
Well, I don't need any new shoes right now.
Wanna look at 'em?
No, how random. No thanks.
Just look
Did you just get done sweeping the hallway?
Why did you just look at
Did you just get done mopping the hallway?
'em? I just swept.
Oh, you swept the hallway. No, I'll look at the shoes in a while. I'm reading something on the computer monitor right now.
You want me to...
I'm reading something on the computer monitor. I'm reading something on the computer monitor right now. When is them doing the stalking while having a restraining order is dumb, deadly irony, total hypocrisy, lawlessness that the corrupt courts are enforcing and need to repent from facilitating neighbors backstabbing each other. These lockpickers, Serena Barella and Alberto Banda, Marine Corps computer hackers from 2029 Lonnie Lane, are capable of putting poisons into the milk in the refrigerator when Susan leaves the house. 2031 Lonnie Lane, Dayton, Nevada, and they want me in jail so they can harm Susan and take over the house and the guns. And Jeremy Silva is the same that fronts a family while framing another family man across the street, Joshua Swandick, that also hacks computers. Trump Vance meet with Pope Leo's Florida brother, a major MAGA fan named Louis Prevost. Louis. Papal renunciation. Louis Raphael Sacco was made a cardinal by Pope Francis, which is my middle name, William Francis Dunn IV, on June 28th, 2018. This is the next pope after Robert Francis Prevost retires. Louis Prevost. And there's a picture of this Cardinal Louis Sacco. Shaking hands with Pope Leo XIV. Louis Sacco is going to be the next pope. My sister Katie Logan's never visited my mother Susan Dunn. My mother's lived out here for 10 years. And Bonnie Gilpin, my mother's sister, doesn't visit my mother either. My mother's a papist, a backstabber that is suicidal. And I'm being scapegoated as being crazy when my mother has erratic, very erratic behavior, and it puts me on the defensive for them to turn around and gaslight me as being suspicious. Julius, Regina, and Robert Wildman. And Julius and Julia. Julia is derived from the name Julius. This is biased. Julia Bice has the restraining order filed on me. I have a TPO violation, and now I have to see this Robert William, who did a book with a Julius. Julia Bice on Facebook. This is from Stephen Burns Rye, who's going to be a judge. Class C felony. Class C felony. The entire purport of this fourth vow of obedience to the Pope, and this is what Susan's doing, and they got something in their skull. They're receiving a voice in their head that tells them to sweep the hallway, clean a cat box on time. They have the mark of the beast.
That was colors from the extravagant.
My mother worked for the government for 30 years and filed sexual harassment on men at Hill Air Force Base and McClellan Air Force Base. I want my mother to repent and to repair their relationship with my sister Katie Catherine Logan Dunn. My mother does not care about mending any relationship with my sister Katie Logan. And this is what law enforcement enforces. They don't bother to look into any backgrounds and family issues. They just take restraining orders and put them on everyone.
Here's the stones.
Instead of looking at people's backgrounds, they just blindly go ahead with the restraining orders. It's because of Pope Leo XIV. to the Pope was and is with regard to the missions, and this is how the bulls should be understood, where they speak of the obedience and all the sovereign pontiff may command, and wherever he may send one, and so on. These guys have control of the American government, and the example is Pope Leo XIV is from Chicago. He's telling people like the Judge Schlegelmilch how to judge. Speak of the mark of the beast. My social security number is 9 digits, and I've already met with this Judge Schlegelmilch on February 9th. 557-730018, William Francis Dunn, the 4th, 2031 Lonnie Lane. Date of birth, November 12th, 1980. I have a birthmark, red mark on my right hand. As per numerology, 666 when added comes to 9, a tricky number that stands for greediness and natural disasters. But 9, 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 18. 18, my last 4 digits of social, 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. February 9th. Oh yeah, Schlegelmilch's Facebook address ends with a 9. John Schlegelmilch 9 at Facebook. 9 a.m. February 9th was the last court day I had with him so far. That was the 3rd time been to his court. It also, the number of Mars mingle, which means extra energy, which can either make or break. It is impulsive, restless, stubborn, and inflexible. Revelation 13:18. My social security number, last 4 digits, 00, drop the zeros, and it's 18 as in Revelation 13:18. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for is the number of a man. That number is 666. And Robert William Wildman claims to be a Christian, but when I tell him God bless you on the phone, he says you too to me. He's an antichrist, liar, intellectually dishonest. And when you go to the survey page for the Social Security Administration, it has Rome in the URL. Rome. Pope Francis addressed Congress in 2015. This is what's controlling Congress, the government, the local courthouses, psychiatry. Robert Wildman is intellectually dishonest. He has caused more psychological harm than alleviating any issues. It's witchcraft. Why is my mother sweeping the hall at 11:30 at night? Why are there pictures of witches riding brooms? That is spiritual deception. On behalf of the court, this is from Schlegelmilch to my father. On behalf of the court, John Schlegelmilch to William F. Dunn, September 9th, 2016. This judge is part of the false prophet system when he can repent and become a true prophet and a judge like Samuel in the Bible. He's a dishonorable judge right now, and I'll just be the latest in his corrupt judgments. When he can just repent and go back on past cases, make adjustments, and make sure that the prison inmates are taught the truth. And when they are released, they are made sure to not return to the conspiracy that got them the jail time to begin with. But John Schlegelmilch does not have that in him right now. John Paul Schlegelmilch is a papist. Pope John Paul II, John Paul Schlegelmilch, District Judge. Dear Mr. Dunn, all at 911 Harvey Way. On behalf of the court, I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation for your service as a juror in the state of Nevada versus Ryan Joe Coddington. Your conscientious consideration of the challenging and sensitive issues presented to you in this case proves that our constitutional system of trial by our peers works to ensure fair and unbiased decisions are handed out of our courts. Abraham Lincoln once said that a jury is the common sense of a common people. The only way we have justice is through the judicial system in the United States. Justice really means fairness. It means that if you're charged with a crime, you can appear in front of a jury of your peers who will judge the facts fairly as a citizen of this state. A jury common of your peers means a mix of people from all walks of life using their common sense to do justice. It is one of the most important civic responsibilities of being a United States citizen. I appreciate the fact that you responded to your summons as a juror, willing to do your job. Our judicial system only works because citizens like you are interested, concerned, and willing to make whatever arrangements are necessary in their personal lives to be able to perform this invaluable service. Your presence on the jury was a great asset in this case. Once again, I would like to thank you on behalf of the court and the people of Lyon County for your willingness to serve as a juror and to give so freely your time and abilities. I admire you for your great commitment to this case with great respect. Honorable John Paul Sugelmich. Now this judge is going to have me in a trial with a jury. This is biased mockery. This judge is a troll. He's dishonorable and he needs to repent. Then he'll be a true prophet and a judge instead of a papist that's corrupting the court system, that is biased, that mocks what his court really is. Kel Mackenzie Brock Esquire was recently named 2021 pro bono, and this is my public defender, and the Bar Association has put a black ball on me. I'm not able to get a hold of any attorneys after all this time because of Schlegel Milch and Samuel Figueroa and Kel Brock have gone to the rumor mill of the Bar Association telling all these lawyers to not answer my calls, not to pick up my case. The name Brock has dual origins. It's an English Germanic name meaning badger, often a nickname, a variant of Brook, as in the Brookings Institution. Trustee Brookings Institutions from 1922 on until at least 1920. By the way, Kel Brock has this original letter that the judge wrote to my father, and Kel Brock has been dishonest. He hasn't shown the judge and told him the judge should not be biased in this case or anything. He is colluding with the district attorney. Trustee Brookings Institutions from 1922 on until at least 1929, founding or very early director of the Council on Foreign Relations from at least 1922, together with the Morgan Rockefeller interests. The Warburg Schiff connection to the Bolsheviks also extended from Germany to the United States. When Lenin's Bolshevik ally Leon Trotsky arrived in New York City in January 1917, a certain Arthur Conkers, the superintendent and director of the Hebrew Sheltering and Immigrant Aid Society, in Revelation 17, who is the woman riding the beast? Samantha Edmondo, wearing scarlet red with a hideous smile on their face because they're corrupting the courts. And they're trying for 2 felony charges on me now. And Kel Brock is beating around the bush and telling me he hasn't seen 2 cases, only one, when he's seen the other one. And he told me December 16th, that they were going to close on a misdemeanor until I sent the court emails, which is a lie because the courts were receiving emails from me before Julia Bice put their restraining order on me. Donald J. Trump, Justice Complex, and they didn't put his full name. And these are what these people have been doing with these restraining orders, like Lorianne Matthias, judge, and Julianne Bice did not put their full name on the restraining order against me. And Donald J. Trump has 34 felonies and has a Justice Complex named after him. Get rid of those felonies. Otherwise, you're saying this court is criminal, operating in criminal behavior, embellishing charges on people. Get rid of those 34 felonies on Donald J. Trump then. Otherwise, this is a severe hypocrisy destroying the Urrington community. Recusal of bias from Camille Vecchiarelli. The 3 judges have been conspiring on Judge Camille Vecchiarelli. Lorianne Matthias, Judge Schlegelmilch, and Peter J. Spinuzzi have been conspiring on this judge. Oh, there's Samantha Edmondo, wearing red, hideous smile on her face, corrupting the courts. Pinky swear you're not corrupting the courts there, Samantha Edmondo. You're a papist, and you hate women, You should be around a woman. They're secretly attracted to women while virtue signaling them in the court of law, and they hate them at the same time. That's a transgender with the bone structure of a man. If you want to be around a woman, fine. You shouldn't be called a lesbian. But you hate men and women both, and you're corrupting the court, and you need to repent, Samantha Edmondo. She had a title written on her forehead. This title has a hidden meaning. This is what was written: the great Babylon, mother of prostitutes and the evil things of the earth. Then the angel carried me away by the spirit of the desert. There I saw a woman sitting on a red beast. They're wearing red. The beast was covered with evil names. It had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and red. Or in red, hideous smile on their face, corrupting the justice system. Spin doctoring, embellishing charges, trying to find 2 felonies. She was what is that? She was shining with the gold jewels and pearls that she was wearing. She had a golden cup in her hand. This cup is filled with terribly evil things and the filth of her sexual sin. This person's forbidding marriages, does not want me married around a woman, doesn't want anybody in fruitful relationships, has a legal identity and is dishonest with that legal identity. They are a transgender with the bone structure of a man. They need to repent. Quit corrupting the court, Samantha. Repent, Samuel. Samuel Figura and Samantha. Samantha and Samuel have the same etymological meaning. Pinky swear. Oh, is that a gold ring? See, a gold ring on their finger. They tend to sidestep things while corrupting the courthouse. They hate God, but they're willing to spend money that says "In God We Trust" on the back of the dollar bill. You need to repent, Samantha Edmondo.